Welcome to the Muxall Open IoT channel. I am your host, Michael Crane. Removing a standard pellet grill burn pot and igniter assembly. Alright, so in this video we'll be removing the old burn pot and igniter assembly from a pellet grill so we can install a new burn pot and igniter assembly. Alright, this is a Traeger grill and may look different from your grill, but the burn pot and igniter assembly should mount the same if it uses the standard assembly, which many do. Alright, so first things first, let's make sure the grill is unplugged and cold. You do not want to be working on the grill after doing a cook. Alright, so second, we want to disassemble the grill. So if you're new to pellet grills, you may want to take pictures of the inside of the grill before disassembly and during disassembly, just to make sure you put everything back the way it was. You may laugh at this, but it happens all the time. So third, we want to clean out all the ash in the grill. Now this isn't really necessary, but hey, since the hood is open, why not, right? If you have a ceramic igniter, like I do, be very careful cleaning the burn pot. Hanging the ceramic igniter, it will damage it and cause it to burn out. And you probably want to keep it for a backup anyway, if it's still working. Next, we need to locate the igniter wire that is connected to the controller. This is a pair of wires that is covered with high-temp fiberglass sheathing and has a 2-pin Molex connector on the end. Some grills like mine, you can easily access that igniter wire from the bottom. But on others, you may have to disassemble one or more panels on your grill to access the igniter wire. Alright, so after locating the igniter wire's connector, disconnect the igniter's connector from the controller's connector. Alright, does that make sense? Make sure to pull on the plastic connectors and not the wires. You don't want to pull the wires out of the pins. Next, we are going to connect a pull line, aka a fish line, to the wire. This will help us pull the new igniter's wire back to the controller. All right. So I'm using power wire pull line. All right. But any string or wire like speaker wire can be used as long as it's strong enough not to break while pulling the igniter wire. All right. Don't want to be using sewing thread. And it needs to be flexible. Yeah. So no coat hangers. All right, so using electrical tape, tape the pull line to the igniter wire next to the connector. All right, with the pull line attached, we are ready to remove the old burn pot from the grill. I'm using a 1/4-inch nut driver, but you may have to use a crosshead screwdriver, an Allen wrench, or something like that. These screws may not come out easily if they are rusted, so a little tongue action may be required. Oh, I forgot to mention that we should put an old towel or rag over the edge of the grill to keep our arms out of the grease. Oops. So, now that we have our towel down and screws out, we can carefully remove the old burn pot. Since the auger tube sticks out through the burn pot, we have to push the burn pot away from the auger tube first to unseat it, right? This may take a little bit of wiggle action to, to get it to unseat. The igniter mounting tube is under the auger tube. The burn pot will have to be rotated a little bit left or right so the igniter mounting tube and igniter can clear the auger tube, okay? Then gently lift the burn pot out and send it down so we can pull the igniter wire with the attached pull line out, all right? The connector may hang going through the hole in the auger housing. So we'll have to climb under the grill to push the connector through the hole. Once through, finish pulling the igniter wire with the pull line out, all right? Make sure to pull plenty of extra string so that it's easy to work with. Then cut the string off by the old igniter's connector. Okay. You may want to vacuum out the ash and and any crispy critters that may have made their way into the auger housing before installing the new pot. And that's it. Okay. Installing a standard pellet grill burn pot and igniter assembly. Installing the burn pot and igniter assembly is basically the same as removing the assembly, but in reverse. All right. So first we need to feed the igniter wire through the auger housing to the controller. If you used a pull line when removing the old burn pot and igniter assembly, then it's pretty easy, right? If you did not, you'll have to push the igniter wire down the auger housing and fish it out of the housing using needle nose pliers or something like that, okay? So assuming you have a pull line attached, you want to attach the pull line to the igniter wire using electrical tape. But this time we're going to put a little extra tape on the igniter wire's connector and the pull line so we can form it into a point. And this will make it easier to guide the connector through the auger housing's hole. Okay, so using one hand to pull and the other hand to guide, gently pull the connector through the auger housing to the auger housing's access hole. Right? The connector may hang a bit on the auger housing's hole, but a quick jump under the grill to help guide the connector through will get you all fixed up. When you get the wire through the hole and to the controller, pull the excess igniter wire out. Do not remove the pull line at this time. Okay? So now that the igniter wire is pulled, we can install a new burn pot and igniter assembly. With one hand gently pulling on the igniter wire's pull line and the other hand holding the burn pot assembly, gently install the assembly. You'll have to rotate the burn pot a bit so the igniter and the igniter mounting tube can clear the auger tube. Once the burn pot assembly is in, rotate the burn pot so the igniter and igniter mounting tube is under the auger tube. All right. So since the auger tube sticks through the burn pot, you'll have to push the burn pot over the auger tube. It may be a little tight getting the auger tube through the burn pot, so don't worry if it takes a bit of force to get it in place. All right. Okay, so when you're done, the mounting holes should be aligned. If they're not aligned, then it's probably you probably need to push a little harder to get the auger tube into the burn pot. All right. Okay, so install the burn pot mounting screws. Make sure to snug them down, but not too tight, or you'll never be able to remove them later. You know, when they get all rusty. Hand tight plus a quarter turn should do the trick. And if you have a porcelain burn pot, do not crack the porcelain if installing a porcelain burn pot. Using the Muxall supplied screws with the built-in washers will prevent the fasteners from scratching the porcelain when tightened. All right. So remove the pull line from the igniter wire and connect the igniter wire to the controller. Gently pull excess igniter wire out of the auger housing. Using wire ties, make sure the igniter wire is not touching the fan, the auger, or the auger's fan. If there is a lot of excess igniter wire dangling underneath your grill, use another wire tie to take it up. Okay, and that's it. Now we're ready for a test run.
Don't forget, you can support the Muxall Open IoT channel by donation using a credit card and PayPal or by purchasing products at the Muxall store. Details and links are in the description under this video. Well, that's it for this video. If you liked the video, give it a big thumbs up, that helps, and hit the subscribe button. That really helps. If you have any questions or comments, post them in the comments under this video. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.